when we come, and then there are many cases which are heard, either with regard to the linear infrastructure, or it could be the faulty environmental clearances with regard to many of the projects which have been given a green signal because it has followed certain legal procedures. But then if we speak about the role of law, mainly so with regard to achieving or meeting or climate justice, or saying that climate justice is possible, um, what can we exactly do, mainly in India, sir, and what role does law play in achieving climate justice for India?
Firstly, we wish all of you on the dais good afternoon. See, climate change to be seen in isolation is the first human error. You cannot and you must not see climate change concepts dehost the environmental general issues. Ultimately, the end is impact on human life and our resources. Just to mention to you a little background, the Indian Constitution is one of the rarest constitutions in the world which gives you an environmental golden triangle. That is the constitutional duty of the citizens, constitutional duty of the state, and right to clean and environment as a fundamental right. Now there are three sources which we have: the legislature, the regulatory agencies, and the citizens. The responsibility is equal, if not more, on either of these segments. In my humble view, the climate change today is not only a major issue for the globe, but it is a threatening issue. The way, just as Gokul mentioned, as Michael mentioned, you can imagine, these are just the work of the time for mentioning of the coming events. The rule of law is very significant and it has a correlation as directly as that to the rule of law. If the rule of law is to be seen, it is what the judges speak through the law and what is the access to justice, that is environmental justice. In our country, then I would just mention one case to you, which just half an hour drive from here, and you can see what it was and what it is today. It is today Bihar Resident Association case versus the Government of India. Now, I don't know how many of you may be aware about it, that Delhi generates around about 1,620 metric tons of waste every day. Now, the emission from this waste to energy plant was the main concern, and the emissions were impacting day-to-day life, the temperature, and obviously that takes you to climate change aspect. Now, the residents wanted this plant to be shut. If you apply the theory of not in my backyard, then obviously the result was to shut it. Question was, the 700 metric tons of waste that it treats every day, where will that go? Where will you dump that? Question was not only of the waste, question was ultimately of emissions, because those emissions were causing variable environmental factors as well as the health of the public was being adversely affected. But by proper orders, proper data collection, proper technology, the plant will revive. Today it's functioning, and hopefully I think the residents are not facing that bad emissions. Thus, looking after the solution to the problem is the challenge today. In whatever field we talk about, whether in utilization of natural resources, whether deforestation or vehicular pollutions, emissions through fossil fuels, all of them put together causes of common human problems. All of them arise with the lifestyle. What I think is, besides proper administration of justice, that is, there should be greater emphasis by the courts on protecting the environment. We have, which shortly we will be discussing, we would be very concerned that the administration of justice in the environmental field must receive a higher value in our judicial system, not only in India, across the world. It should become a part of our education system. We must take precautions which we say is, I will do, not worry what others will do. Lastly, I would only say one thing, ladies and gentlemen, that we make nature for our existence. Nature does not need us for its existence. Therefore, what we really need to do is that plan properly, have proper data collection. There should be interchange of technology available for handling various human issues, which ultimately leads to gases and therefore variable temperatures. Now, what you are facing in Delhi now, Delhi was never used to what you are seeing today. February used to be one of the most pleasant months in Delhi. So, coming from that, it's a collective effort of all concerned. And as far as the laws in India are concerned, there are enough laws to protect the environment because most of the legislation in India have come through their international commitment, not the independent legislative power. Once we are conscious, and what I put very normally is, it is the environmental consciousness. If we can bring that into our day-to-day life, protection of climate change would automatically follow. Because change in climate is not occurring because merely of one factor. It's a multifaceted attitude which is causing great concern today. There are effective judgments passed by the courts in India which definitely deal with not only the environmental aspects, stricto sensu, but even with climate change and climate justice system. So effective systems, good conscience, and complete bent of mind to protect the globe, not because environment doesn't care whether I am in India, Pakistan, US, UK, which part of the world. The air, if it goes through. Seas, if they are going to change their levels, it's going to change their levels. If we are not worried about the melting of glaciers, well, consequences are inevitable. So let's all hope that we avoid disasters and live a better life in this globe. Thank you.